What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Actuali Podcast. I'm Chris, and it is Meaning Making 101. We are without Mr. DJ today. He had to hang back this evening, so it's going to be a solo stream for us today. But boy, have I got some news for you guys. Meaning Making 101, this is our weekly live stream series where we try to make sense of this world together. I can't do this on my own. I'm not smart enough. The world's problems are way too big for any one person to figure out on their own, you know? So let's try and put our heads together. And I want to talk to everybody, people I agree with, people I disagree with. And that way we can calibrate, we can work together to find out what is going to work best, what is true and good for one and all, something that we can all agree on as best as we can. But, that's the way we humans have always operated, as we have run into each other over eons as strangers and found our ways to make peace and to work together. And when we work together, wow, the things that we can do. If any of you guys were paying attention during the Artemis 2 mission, that was historic. We got something else actually quite historic for you guys. 2026 is shaping up to be something else. And boy, I did not see this one coming at all. Let me just go ahead and show you guys real fast, give you a quick fast forward of what we're about to cover today. The Trump administration, well, Donald Trump himself, just signed an executive order to fast track the reclassification of psychedelic drugs so that they can be used for therapy, so that they can use to help people in severe mental health crisis. This is incredible. This is so huge. This is so historic. This is the reclassification of everything from mushrooms and ibogaine to even good old cannabis, guys. So, your grandma that needs it for her arthritis, or some friend of yours that needs it for seizures, or someone that just doesn't like alcohol but wants to do that as their recreational substance on the weekends or whatever. I don't care. It's your business. Maybe they're actually going to be able to do that a little bit more safely with less paranoia now. I know that a lot of the stigma has been dropping in the recent years, which is great to see, and that's why this has become possible. But wow, to see Joe Rogan in the Oval Office standing behind Trump as Trump makes this announcement, I thought I was seeing AI when I was driving home one day, and I saw a video there in YouTube while I was, listening to something. What? That's got to be fake. Clicked it, and it's real. What the heck? So let me show you guys what I'm talking about. I don't know how much this is making the mainstream news right now because there's so much going on in the world. But let's just go ahead and jump on over. Let me show you guys right quick. Here we go.
And he's a fantastic person. Joe Rogan, to say a few words, please. Joe.
Well, I want to say that I'm here because of the man to my left. Brian Hubbard and former Texas Governor Rick Perry came on my podcast. They told me how impactful this medicine is, and having that conversation with them, millions of people got a chance to hear their story, hear the stories of all the different people that have had life-changing experiences from it. And I want Brian to be able to speak about this.
Good. Brian, please.
Thank you, sir.
I heard that, Joe. You have no trouble speaking. He's got no trouble speaking.
I want to assure you that my presence here is the most concrete affirmation that God has a wonderful sense of humor. Thank you. Thank you. Federal prohibition of psychedelic medicine in America is over. On the 250th year.
Wow. Nuts.
On the 250th year of our nation's founding, everyone who has fought for this day through decades of monumental struggle, sacrifice, and suffering can now declare a seminal victory for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Big Pharma hates
rights
this.
we bear as images of our eternal Creator, whose essence is almighty, eternal, unconditional love for each and every one of us.
Let's go.
This is the end of the beginning.
Hell yeah.
We have moved mountains, yet there are mountains to move. Government systems which have relentlessly suppressed psychedelics are the same systems which will now manage their emergence.
Well, man.
We dare not let our guard down for 1 second and be hair trigger ready to impose accountability for incompetence, obstruction, or failure. Credit belongs where credit is due. With this executive order, President Trump has delivered an epic victory for all humanity.
Wow.
I thank him
Ain't
for
no joke.
having the courage to make this happen, and my mission brother, Joe Rogan, for
guy's on the edge
having
of
the
tears.
spine to make the ask.
Yeah.
To our brothers and sisters
Whew.
in Gabon, you have our deepest gratitude for your stewardship of the sacred tree grown for the healing of nations.
Wow.
I will do my best to deliver the respect and honor you deserve for helping heal this nation. It is my joy to deliver these good tidings unto the meek, which will hopefully bind up the brokenhearted, proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to all who are bound. God bless you, and God bless America.
Thank you, Brian.
I want to tell everybody how this happened. I sent President Trump some information. We have a
You notice how the audio was matching the voices the whole time, but now it's starting to creep off. This is something I've seen on YouTube for years, and it only ever seems to happen. Maybe this is just an audio glitch, I don't know, but this could also actually be something that causes people to turn something off because it's no longer comfortable or easy to watch. The people's mouths are not moving with the words anymore. The audio tracking has come off somehow. I've seen this happen on controversial videos for years. Maybe I'm just being
gigantic
paranoid.
opiate problem in this
I don't know
country.
if anyone else
obviously.
notices that sometimes.
In 2024, more than 80,000 people died of overdoses. It's a horrible number. And there's more than 5 million people that are addicted to opiates right now in this country. With one dose of ibogaine, more than 80% of people are free of that addiction. With 2
One dose of ibogaine, which a lot of you guys probably haven't heard of. I mean, I've heard of this, but I've heard it's not a very enjoyable experience, but somehow everyone that does this beats their alcohol and their opiate addictions when nothing else was working, and I mean they beat it. One dose, 80% recidivization rate.
doses, it's more than 90%. I said
okay, there.
people are free
Listen.
of that addiction. With
One
2
dose and then
doses,
two.
it's more than 90%.
2 doses
I
more
sent
than
him that
90.
information. The text message came back, sounds great. Do you want FDA approval? Let's do it. It was literally that quick. These drugs are illegal not
Just
because
years
they're
ago.
harmful. They're illegal because of the 1970 Controlled Substances Act that was passed by the Richard Nixon administration. They did it to target the civil rights movement and the anti-war movement. It's
true.
not because these drugs harm people. And for 56 years, we've lived under those terrible conditions. We're free of that now. We're free of that now. Thanks to all these people that you see next to me, and thanks to President Trump.
Wow.
I want to thank you.
Yeah, I'm in shock, guys. Okay, so friggin' amazing, right? Like, what? How? I can't believe this just happened. This is nuts. So I ended up watching like most of this press event, I guess, from the Oval Office. Because every single time Trump is signing a new executive order, like this is the most transparent presidency I've ever seen. There's always cameras in the Oval Office, and he's talking extensively on what they're signing, what they're doing. You don't have to agree with everything that they're doing, but if you watch, you will notice this is the most filmed, most transparent, we want to show you everything we're doing administration I've ever seen. And I don't agree with the Trump administration on everything, guys. But on this one, hell yeah. We've needed this for a long, long time. And I've heard these stories and I've seen the studies and I've read the articles that would only come out in like Playboy or, whatever, back in the day on the different kinds of therapies that people were trying with psychedelics. And there was actual research on this prior to the 1970s that was ongoing, but then it was cut off. But they were showing that they could get somebody to beat their alcohol addiction with therapy conjoined with a psychedelic treatment. And they were having more progress in one night or 2 sessions than they were in years, months and years of ongoing practice with people struggling. So great news, right? Really, really good news. Let's go ahead and watch the full version now of this, and you can see it from the top because that was just the highlighted portion, of course. I wanted you guys to see that right off. But there's a lot more about this subject to get into, and we're going to hear them say it straight to us. So let's go ahead. Let's jump on over, guys.
Hello, everybody. It's a little bit unusual, right? Bobby's a very unusual person. I said, when is the news conference? He said, Saturday morning. I said, I don't know. Has that ever happened before?
On a Saturday.
Well, it's an honor, and it's very important.
That's
what
right.
we're doing.
This was on a Saturday, on the
So,
18th.
as you see, and you know a lot of the people behind me, they're tremendous professionals, medical professionals most, and some military like Marcus, some great military professionals too, real hero. Today I'm pleased to announce historic reforms to dramatically accelerate access to new medical research and treatments based on psychedelic drugs. In many cases, these experimental treatments have shown life-changing potential for those suffering from severe mental illness and depression, including our cherished veterans. Our veterans are having a tremendous hard time. The suicide rate, we have it down a little bit, but they are having a hard time. And I got a call from a number of people, including the great Joe Rogan, and he said, we have to do something about this. And I looked into it. I called Bobby, I called Oz, I called Marty and Jay, and it was uniform support.
Freaking Joe Rogan standing back there. This is, what reality are we in, guys? What timeline did we end up on? I think we landed in the right timeline somehow.
And I said, so why would we wait 3 or 4 years to get it done? Or 10 years, frankly. Let's get it done immediately, and that's what happened. This has probably never been anything happened so quickly. Everybody is so strongly in favor of this. It's for a lot of people, but it's for our military in particular. The suicide epidemic among veterans is a national tragedy. Since 9/11, we've lost over 21 times more veteran lives to suicide than on the battlefield. So we lose, think of that, 21 times more. And today we're bringing them new hope. I think you're going to see a big difference and a big reduction in that number. I want to thank Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's a fantastic, where are you, Bob? Over here. He always makes it difficult. He's done a great job, too. And people love him. And more importantly, your wife is here someplace, Bobby. She's out there. Where are you? Where are you? The real boss in the family. It was fantastic. Thank you very much for being here. As well as FDA Commissioner Marty McCary, CMS Administrator Dr. Mehmet Oz, NIH Director Dr. Jay Bhattacharya. See how easy that name is? It used to give me a little trouble. That was a tough name. Congressman Morgan Luttrell, who's a friend of mine and he's a real war hero. He knows something that a lot of us will never find out about. Retired U.S. Navy SEAL Marcus Luttrell, the two of them. I don't know what's in your blood, fellas. You guys are good mom and dad. My mom and dad. Yeah, good somebody. Good to have you. Joe Rogan is a fantastic person. We did a little interview before the election. We had over 300 million people. And I said, oh man, I hope Kamala doesn't do it. And she didn't. He wanted her to do it, but she didn't. Someday Joe's going to explain why. I could tell you why. She's explained it. Because she didn't want to. With many other veterans. And I just want to thank the people behind me are outstanding. It's an amazing group. The executive order I'm signing, we're actually signing the executive order today, is really a moment. It directs the FDA to expedite their review of certain psychedelics already designated as breakthrough therapy drugs. They're very much being discussed. It's one of the hottest things I think you're talking about, Oz, right? It's nothing. If these turn out to be as good as people are saying, it's going to have a tremendous impact on this country and other countries too. These treatments are currently in the advanced stages of clinical trials to ensure that they're both safe and effective for the American patients. And the nice part is we're actually doing this early, but it has been going on. Research has been going on for quite some time. But you know, usually with things like this, nothing ever happens, no matter how the research ends up. But we're changing that. This order will clear away unnecessary bureaucratic hurdles, improve data sharing among the FDA and the Department of Veterans Affairs, and facilitate fast rescheduling of any psychedelic drugs that become FDA approved. And we think many of them will go very quickly. And I have to say, the most favored nations pricing that I established, has been knocking the cost of drugs down by 50, 60, 70, 80%. And I also want to thank you and Bobby for the great job you've done.
Yeah, that was great work. That needed to be done.
The press refuses to write about it. I think it's probably as big as what we're talking about today. The drug costs
kind of thing that you would think the Democrats would have wanted to do.
And by the way, Trump RX, which is the way you go to get your very low-cost drugs. But when you think, in my first term, for 28 years, drug prices went up, and I got it down 1/4 or 1/8 of a percent. I was so proud of myself. It's the only one that in 28 years got them down. And I had a news conference to explain how great I was. I said, I'm the greatest there ever was. I got it down 1/8 of a percent. Okay? I was very proud because it only went up. For 28 years, it went up. Now I got it down a little bit. And now I got it down 50%, 60%, 70% with these guys. So now I am.
Joe Rogan's
But
laugh
nobody
at that
wants
point.
to write about it. But it doesn't matter because the people have found out and they're getting, you know, we're the highest, we were the highest in the world by far.
He does not like not getting credit for the stuff he does. And such a telltale
you know, we
Trump
went
moment.
60%. Now I got it down a little bit. And now I got it down 50%.
Okay, hold
1/8 of a percent. To explain how great I was. Got him down. And I had a news conference to explain how great I was. I said, I'm the greatest there ever was. I got it down 1/8 of a percent. Okay? I was very proud because it only went up. For 28 years, it went up. Now I got it down.
He means I'm the greatest there ever was at getting the prescription drug prices down, but he just loves to talk about himself this way. It's hilarious. The guy is clearly got a chip on his shoulder. We all know that Donald Trump certainly has some narcissism going on. You know, he's a bit of a blowhard. We'll give
and now I got it
give
down
the critics that.
50%, 60%, 70% with these guys. So now I am, you know. But nobody wants to write about it. But it doesn't matter because the people have found out and they're getting, you know, we're the highest, we were the highest in the world by far.
Yeah, we
Sometimes would be 10 times higher than other countries. You'd buy
prescription drugs, yeah.
a drug, I call it the fat pill or the fat drug.
Ozempic.
You'd buy it in London, you'd buy it for $10 for a pill, let's say, or a pill generally, but actually to be specific, London, $87, New York, $1,300.
Jeez.
I said, how can that be possible? How can it be possible? $87. And actually a friend of mine called me up and he said, you know, he's a very rich guy, and he happens to be on this Ozempic, I guess, at the time.
Oh, this is hilarious.
It was not working, by the way. The guy was extremely successful, but highly neurotic. Got a lot of problems. I will not mention his name. He's begging me not to mention it because he's become quite famous.
Rogan trying not to laugh is maybe the best
but
part of this.
he's very smart, very rich guy.
Okay, go back to that
got
one
a lot
too.
of problems. And it was not working, by the way. The guy was extremely successful.
Just watch
It was
Rogan's
not
face.
working,
This
by
is
the way. The guy was
Tried so hard.
extremely
He
successful,
tried.
but highly neurotic. Got a lot of problems. I will not mention his name. He's begging me not to mention it because he's become quite famous. He's a big factor here. But he's very smart, very rich guy, very, very successful guy. And he said, hey, President, he used to call me Donnie. Now he calls me President, sign of respect. He said, I'm in London. I bought this stuff for $87. In New York, I pay $1,300. What's going on? I said, well, that's the way it is. We pay the highest prices in the world. And it sort of hit me that how ridiculous it is. Made, by the way, he checked it. He had a whole big research done on it because he couldn't believe it. Made in the same factory, same place, everything was the same except the price. And now we are the lowest price. We are tied. In other words, whatever the lowest price in the world is, that's the price we pay. That's a tremendous difference. So we'll be paying, they go up a little bit. So
Well,
the
thanks,
87
Big
will go like
Pharma.
to 120, and we'll go down from
Took Trump
1,300 to
manhandling
120.
you off to finally
So we'll have these massive price cuts,
give
and
us
they've
fair
already
pricing.
started. And I think it's one of the biggest things, but unfortunately the press doesn't like to talk about it. But because
Nope.
if I were a Democrat, it would be headlines all over the place. But so I do that. That's why I
Yeah,
like
I
live
doubt
television.
YouTube is giving us much reach right
It's
now in the
great
algorithm.
because you can't do any cutting. But we're so honored by that, and that's going to have a huge impact on this also, because the pricing, not only is it important, but the pricing is going good. And you're going to get the rescheduling done, right, please? So will you get the rescheduling done, please? You know, they're slow walking me on rescheduling.
Ah,
Okay, you're going to get it done, right? In 2024 study from Stanford University,
Better, boy.
30 special operation veterans with traumatic brain injuries underwent, it's called ibogaine treatment. Ibogaine. Remember the name. Is that pronounced relatively properly, would you say?
Yes.
I don't want to get it wrong. Ibogaine, because it's so important, and experienced an 80 to 90% reduction in symptoms of depression and anxiety within 1 month. Can I have some, please? I'll take it. I'll take whatever it takes.
no, if you want to go
I
through
don't have
that.
time to be depressed.
It's
You
a
know, you stay
hardcore
busy
trip out
enough,
here.
maybe that works too. That's what I do.
I think it makes
In
you face all
Texas,
your demons. I
Republican
think all
leaders
that
have
stuff
already
comes up
committed
and you
$50 million.
can't avoid it.
That's what I do. In Texas, Republican leaders have already committed $50 million to the ibogaine research, and today the federal government is making a $50 million research investment in its own, and so that was just approved just last night. We're also opening a pathway for ibogaine to be administered to desperately ill patients under the right to try law. That's a law that I started and I got, right to try. Very proud of that. Was done in my first term, and I used to marvel at the fact that people that were terminally ill could not get a drug. They're terminally ill. They're going to die, and the FDA, right, Marty? That's right. Jay? The FDA was protecting them from dying, but they're going to die. And so we have these incredible drugs, and they may work and they may not work, but we wouldn't let anybody get them because they were bad for your health. But these are people that were going to die. And it never made sense to me. So one of the first things I did early in my term, and it was very tough to get,
Right to
actually,
try.
hard to believe. It was very tough with Congress, but they came through.
Oh,
the
because you might end up
Republicans came through.
inadvertently curing stuff that
And
Big
we have
Pharma
something
doesn't want
called Right
cures
to
for.
Try, and we've
for making
saved
money.
thousands and thousands of lives. That's if you're terminally ill or very ill, and there is a new drug that is not available because it's going through the process of the FDA, and Marty's cut that process down by 50%. We're down, it used to take 12 years, and now we have it down to 5 or 6 years, and it's one of the most important things that you can do. But if you're terminally ill, and there's a new drug that may work or may not work, but it hasn't been approved yet, you sign a document, and you're not going to hold the country liable. You're not going to hold the drug companies or the insurance companies or anybody liable, and you have the right to try. And what it's done, and nobody wanted it. The insurance companies hated it. Even the doctors, they were all afraid of it because they didn't want to be sued. But I took all of the liability out of it. You sign a document.
There you
You're
go.
not going to sue the doctor. You're not going to sue the hospital. You're not
Perfect.
going to sue anybody,
Simple.
including the country.
That's all you got to do.
And everybody signs it like immediately. And
Easy fix.
we have
course.
tens of thousands of people on this, and
That's all we had to
we've
do.
saved thousands and thousands of lives. And what it
haven't we
has
done-
done,
why didn't we do
never
this
thought
years
of it
ago?
so much, Oz, but what it has done is, in some cases, these drugs are working so good, it literally cures people that were terminally ill.
That's
But
why
it's
Big Pharma
one
doesn't
of the
want it
things I'm
legal.
most proud. I'm proud of a lot of things we've done.
The
but
right
that's
to
one of
try.
the
See, I didn't even know
things
about that
we're
until I
most
saw
proud
this.
of, right to try.
That's awesome.
But I've always believed in ensuring that the
Where's the
American
media on
patients
this?
have access to breakthrough. To ask Secretary Kennedy to say a few words, followed by Commissioner McCary, Marcus Luttrell, Joe Rogan, and anybody in the group that would like to speak. You're tremendous people. I know many of you, and you're really highly
This
respected
is insane.
people. And the Luttrell family is well represented.
What
but I don't mind
timeline
having
is
both
this?
Luttrells. Both Luttrells can say a few words,
Wow.
okay? Great people. And so,
All right.
Bobby, do you want to start it off, please?
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very
President.
much.
Good morning, and thanks to the leadership of President Trump for making this historic day possible. Under the executive order, HHS will accelerate research, approval, and access to new mental health treatments, including psychedelic therapies such as ibogaine.
Wow.
We're taking this decision,
Let's go.
this decisive step to confront one of the most urgent public health challenges facing our nation, the mental health crisis. More than 14 million Americans
And opiate
live with
addiction,
serious mental
alcohol
illness,
addiction,
and one in four
PTSD,
adults experiences
anxiety,
a
major depression.
diagnosable disorder each year. Suicide has risen by more than 30% over the past 2 decades, with another peak in recent years.
God.
Among veterans, more than 6,000 die by suicide each year since 2001. We have lost far more veterans to suicide than to combat.
Yeah.
At the same time, millions of Americans.
Yeah, and we have better psychological evaluations nowadays than we used to, say back in like Vietnam times, for instance. And the suicide rate is still sky high.
Americans living
It's because humans don't like killing humans, even when you have to, because they're killing other humans, and you need to stop them. Like Iran.
depression, PTSD, addiction, and other conditions do not respond to existing treatments.
Yeah.
We owe it to our warfighters and veterans to turn over every stone to alleviate.
Yeah, because we know, and we've known this for decades now, that psychedelics like psilocybin, magic mushrooms, can help people overcome severe post-traumatic stress disorder, and as well as break severe addictions with opiates and alcohol. And ibogaine is even more powerful for the breaking of addictions and dealing with PTSD as well. There's at least a few that we could be looking at very seriously.
The emotional and mental health blowback from their deployments. It's disturbing to me and to the president that hundreds, in fact thousands of veterans are having to travel to Mexico or other countries to experiment with interventions that hold great promise, but for which our knowledge is still insufficient. This executive order will remove the legal impediments that block American researchers, scientists, physicians, and clinicians from properly studying these medicines.
Finally.
And where appropriate, establishing protocols for their safe therapeutic use.
It's been illegal for the past half century to even study these substances because they're classified up there with heroin and cocaine and crack and all of that, Schedule I drugs. But they're not, in the case of like psilocybin mushrooms, I know are not, you'd have to eat a tremendous amount of them, like, for it to be toxic. They're not a toxic substance. They're not what we would designate as a narcotic, such as alcohol or heroin. Narcotics, if you take too much, it will kill you. It's not like that. It's in the realm of like broccoli. You could eat enough broccoli to kill yourself, but it would be like really, you're trying to eat a truckload of broccoli. It's going to be really friggin' hard to pull it off. It's like you could drink enough water to kill yourself, but it's not a common thing for the same reason. So there are substances that are remarkably safe physically that perhaps we could do more long-term psychological studies on, but from all that we can tell for literal centuries, eons of use with some of these substances, these things have been known as healing. And unfortunately, under the Nixon administration, the psychedelics got classified off with other stuff. And so here we are, 50 years later, we've been disallowing people something from God's planet that may well be here to help heal the most hurt, broken, lost souls.
We're directing the FDA to prioritize therapies that have received breakthrough therapy designation, treatments that early evidence suggests may improve what we have today. We're expanding the use of right to try so that eligible patients with treatment-resistant conditions can access these therapies under medical supervision. We're also coordinating with the DEA and the Department of Justice to begin rescheduling reviews after successful phase 3 trials.
Yeah.
When the FDA determines that therapy is safe and effective, patients should not face avoidable delays in access. At the same time, HHS will work with states, the Department of Veterans Affairs, and other federal partners to strengthen research and share clinical data. We will use that data to support faster evidence-based decisions. Through ARPA-H, HHS will allocate, as the President says, at least $50 million from existing funds to partner with states that are advancing these therapies. We will support those efforts with funding, with technical assistance and data sharing consistent with applicable law. Researchers at Johns Hopkins, Stanford, and Harvard, and other leading institutions have reported meaningful and, in some cases, extraordinary clinical improvements.
Yes.
If these results continue, these therapies could offer longer-lasting relief, not just symptom management, and reduce economic burden of mental illness, which costs this country hundreds of billions of dollars every year. This policy creates a strict, science-based pathway for FDA approval and controlled medical use. The bottom line is progress in mental health treatment has not matched the scale of the problem. I want to thank Joe Rogan for helping bring national attention to innovative, potentially life-saving treatments for veterans and others living with mental illness, and for pushing this conversation into the mainstream. I also want to thank
He's done a lot of work in that regard.
Representative Morgan Luttrell from Texas and former Navy SEAL Marcus Luttrell for their leadership on this issue. I also want to thank the CEO of Americans for Ibogaine, Brian Hubbard, and the organization's ambassador, former Navy SEAL Henry Berkowitz, and former SEAL Team 6, Rob O'Neill. I want to thank a couple of people for getting this record time across the finish line, Callie Means and Dr. Heidi Overton. Thank you, Heidi, for your leadership and for your attention to detail, which is often frustrating, but always right. So thank you, and thank you above all, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Bobby, and you're fantastic. Bobby's really done an amazing job. You know, MAHA, it's a big deal, and I want to thank you. You work so hard, Oz and everybody up here, and I just want to thank you. Great job. And he's somewhat outside of the box, would you say? And that we need outside of the box a little bit, right?
Way out of the box.
Would you say, Oz?
But this is appropriate.
Marty, please.
I think.
Great. Thank you, Mr. President. Next week, the FDA will issue 3 national priority vouchers for serotonin 2A agonists, also known as psychedelics. Under this new program, in this administration, drugs can get approved in weeks, not a year or a year plus, but in weeks, if they are in line with our national priorities. We have 18 vouchers in the program. We'll be adding 3 more next week. This is an unmet public health need, and there are potentially promising treatments. That's why there's a sense of urgency around this. That's why we're doing it now. The applications are about to come in, so this is the natural, perfect timing for this announcement.
Wow.
For many men and women, they have been fighting battles on the ground. But even after the wars are over, those battles continue in their mind.
Yep.
Now, there are a lot of medications in medicine where we don't know exactly how it works, but we see profound results. If we actually listen to those who experience the therapeutic value, we can learn as a medical field. We just have to listen. The stories of those individuals with dramatic results, that is data. That is scientific data, even from a single individual. We also have randomized controlled trials. And we have to do that because we need to be able to say there's good support when we recommend these therapeutics. If you look at those trials, there's a 30 to 40% remission rate for conditions like PTSD. Otherwise, we got nothing. We have almost nothing for these conditions. And today, the FDA is also announcing the first ibogaine investigational new drug clearance. This will pave the way for the first and ever human trials in the United States. To be clear, the FDA will also have criteria and circumstances that have to be used to administer these drugs. These drugs can have side effects, and so it's not like you go to the pharmacy and pick it up. It's like medications that are administered in an ICU or an operating room. There are criteria for doing it in a controlled setting. Finally, given the urgency of today's mental health crisis, I just want to thank you, Mr. President, and say the FDA is proud to support this broader effort to evaluate new therapeutics for some of the greatest Americans we have in this country.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Doing
President.
a great job, too. Appreciate it. Marcus?
Yes, sir. To start off, Mr. President, thank you so much for having us in here and doing this. You're going to save a lot of lives with it. I'd like to say how grateful I am to have had the opportunity to go through the program and receive the ibogaine. It absolutely changed my life for the better. I went through a lot of the programs that the veterans are going through, and I always kind of felt like I was a victim coming out of the program. When I came out of this, I felt like I had gotten my life back. That was 5 years ago. I literally lived the best days of my life every single day. I'm so thankful for everybody who's in this room to help out with this. I know this is kind of a new frontier for us, and just the fact that we're taking this kind of slow as smooth as fast, and we're getting it in there so we can test this out so that we don't get ahead of ourselves. I think that's very impactful. I think there's a lot of people out there that need help, not only our veterans, but our civilian population that can benefit from this. And it's going to do great things for our country to get it back on track and open up a lot of doorways and pathways for us to be successful in the future.
Real fast now.
Thank you for
Boy,
your
do
time.
we have a
That's
mental health
fantastic.
crisis.
So you've done this 5 years.
About time.
Yes, sir.
And it's just been a whole different thing.
Every single day is a better day for me.
Wow, that's amazing, really.
I can vouch for that.
Come here, this guy's got guts. Come here. Come on, these guys. Two good guys. I didn't realize you were involved in it already. It's the best
Yes, sir.
testament you can have. There's nothing better than that. A man who's really respected by everybody, and he's a fantastic person, Joe Rogan, to say a few words, please, Joe.
Well, I want to say that I'm here because of the man to my left. Brian Hubbard and former Texas Governor Rick Perry came on my podcast. They told me how impactful this medicine is. And having that conversation with them, millions of people got a chance to hear their story, hear the stories of all the different people that have had life-changing experiences from it. And I want Brian to be able to speak about this.
Good. Brian, please.
Thank
We
you,
might
sir.
have to watch a little bit of that
I heard that,
episode
Joe.
here. Maybe
You
we'll
have
do
no
that
trouble
next week.
speaking. He's had no trouble speaking.
I want to assure you that my presence here is the most concrete affirmation that God has a wonderful sense of humor. Thank you. Thank you.
You hear how choked up he is when he says thank you to Rogan there?
Thank you. Thank you.
Man,
Federal prohibition of psychedelic medicine in America is over. On the 250th year,
he's got some emotion in his voice. This
on
is
the
huge.
250th year of our nation's founding, everyone who has fought for this day through decades of monumental struggle, sacrifice, and suffering can now declare a seminal victory for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Rights we bear as images of our eternal Creator, whose essence is almighty, eternal, unconditional love for each and every one of us.
Sad, bro.
This is the end of the beginning. We have moved mountains, yet there are mountains to move. Government systems which have relentlessly suppressed psychedelics are the same systems which will now manage their emergence.
Wow.
We dare not let our guard down for 1 second
Nope.
and be hair trigger ready to impose accountability for incompetence, obstruction, or failure.
Ooh, I like that bit. I like that bit. I'm paying closer attention now. Listen to this.
Accountability for
Listen
1
to this.
second their emergence.
Right
We
here.
dare not let our guard down for 1 second
We dare not let our guard down for 1 second
and be hair trigger ready
and be hair trigger ready
to impose accountability for
to
incompetence,
impose accountability for incompetence,
obstruction,
obstruction, trying to block our
or
path,
failure.
or failure.
Credit belongs where credit is due.
He understands that we have to watch these people that we put in these positions of power and our systems of self-governance to represent us. We have to watch them like hawks Even if you like Donald Trump and his administration, you should be watching him like a hawk. Power corrupts human beings. We need lots of checks and balances in place. Good people around us to keep us true. Good traditions, good examples of a higher way of being to strive towards and really be committed to that. To be safe from being taken over by that corruptive instinct within all fearful life. Got to choose. Are we going to live through fear or are we going to live through love? Like Bill Hicks said, are you seeing through the eyes of fear or the eyes of love?
With this executive order, President Trump has delivered an epic victory for all humanity. I thank him for having the courage to make this happen, and my mission brother, Joe Rogan, for
something you would never imagine possible with any presidency in the United States or in any nation on the planet. I mean, I guess if it was going to happen anywhere, it would be here, but
having the spine to make the ask. To our brothers and sisters in Gabon,
that's a great thank you. Because
Joe
Rogan did help him champion this. He brought him and his buddy on his show.
To make the ask. To our brothers and sisters
it's really choked up
in
here,
Gabon,
man. You hear it?
You have our deepest gratitude for your stewardship of the sacred tree grown for the healing of nations. I will do my best to deliver the respect and honor you deserve for helping heal this nation. It is my joy to deliver these good tidings unto the meek, which will hopefully bind up the brokenhearted, proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to all who are bound.
Wow, man. Whoa, whoa,
and
whoa,
the broken
whoa, whoa.
For these good this nation. You deserve for helping heal this nation. It is my joy to deliver these good tidings unto the meek, which will hopefully bind up the brokenhearted, proclaim liberty to the captives, and
bind up the brokenhearted, proclaim liberty to the captives. Because a lot of people have been mercilessly and unfairly punished for purveying these substances too.
the opening of the prison to all who are bound. God bless you, and God bless America.
Man, that last sentence there is
Will
powerful.
hope my joy to deliver these good tidings unto the meek, which will hopefully bind up the brokenhearted, proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to all who are bound. God bless you, and God bless America.
God, man, those were historic words. That man was taken up and full of emotion. You could tell that his eyes were watering that entire speech, and he was just filled with the Spirit. And he said something courageous and heartfelt, loving and strong and true. Good for you, man. Good for you, man.
I want to tell everybody how this happened. I sent President Trump some information. We have a gigantic opiate problem in this country, obviously.
And this is so integral. Our opiate problem in this country.
In 2024, more than 80,000 people died of overdoses. It's a horrible number. And there's more than 5 million people that are addicted to opiates right now. More than 80,000 people died of overdoses.
What was that, just last year?
In 2024, more than 80,000 people died of overdoses. It's a horrible number. And there's more than 5 million people that are addicted to opiates right now in this country. With one dose of ibogaine, more than 80% of people are free of that addiction. With 2 doses, it's more than 90%.
2 doses,
I
more
sent
than
him that
90%.
information.
Nothing on this planet, nor at least no drug ever pushed by Big Pharma has ever even gotten close to those numbers.
The text message came back, sounds great. Do you want FDA approval? Let's do it. And it was literally...
Same result for alcohol, by the way,
Really that quick.
as far as I know. I think that's correct.
These drugs are illegal not because they're harmful. They're illegal because of the 1970 Controlled Substances Act that was passed by the Richard Nixon administration. They did it to target the civil rights movement and the anti-war movement.
Right.
It's not because these drugs harm people. And for 56 years, we've lived under those terrible conditions. We're free of that now. We're free of that now. Thanks to all these people that we see next to me, and thanks to President Trump.
I want to thank you.
Joe Rogan just cares.
We all
He actually
respect
cares.
Joe, and he's a little
Props,
bit
dude.
more liberal than.
Who would have thought?
That's okay. I have a lot of friends that are liberal, but Joe is an amazing guy, and he wrote me a little note about this, and I had it checked out. I didn't just do it. I had it checked out. I went to Bobby and Oz. I went to some of the people that work for you, real pros, and everybody came back with the same
Yeah, you would
answer.
think
know,
this would
normally
be like
they'll come
a very much a liberal, progressive-minded kind of move here.
back because this happens a lot. I have a couple of them like that where they're not sure. It's like, you know, it goes two ways. This thing, everybody thought it was incredible. And
So, for some reason, Democrats, previous administrations, wanted nothing to do with this, probably because one of their major donors is always Big Pharma. God, man. But what? Trump said, screw it, I don't care. I guess so.
I told Bobby, I said, Bobby, let's just do it and get Oz involved, and it's going to get done so quickly. And
You know, Bobby's going to
you
go
guys
for it.
did a great job. Would you like to say something?
No, Oz is going to go for it.
Mr. President, I want to thank Matt Zorin, who's hiding in the back there, who actually on Sunday wrote a draft for this. You already thanked Heidi and Kelly, but
You guys have done their homework.
Susie Wiles makes everything run here. This was an unimaginable task in 1 week to be able to go from a series of connections and communications with Joe Rogan through the honey badger of them all, Bobby Kennedy, who said, we're not going to stop. We didn't start calling everyone down. The bike
Yes.
Spear's been involved, and Chris Klump, who's been doing a fantastic job helping run everything in great efficiency.
Yes,
Made
because
something-
people
and I
are
just
dying every day. People are getting addicted every day.
want to emphasize this. This is an entire paradigm
People are committing suicide or overdosing every day.
shift away from a one-day-a-pill model, which has failed so many. And
Yes.
the many who are drug resistant that Joe just spoke to, offers them a way of getting out of that rut. The question now is, can we study why it works to understand it better, to use it better? That's what Jay Bhattacharya is going to do, NIH with major funding support, perhaps some ARPA as well. Marty spoke eloquently about the FDA's accelerated pathway for this. And then we're going to, when we
Yes.
learn more, figure out better ways of getting access to these products through our healthcare system. This is an extraordinarily exciting day, and it would never happen if the president just would not take no for an answer. He called on the way Joe to the fight on Saturday, and I think he was as determined to get this done as the men in those rings and women in those rings that night. Thank you, sir.
They are determined.
I want to thank Professor Nolan Williams. When I was a professor at Stanford, I got to know him, and he taught me about ibogaine and all the promise that it has for treatment-resistant depression and so many other conditions. Frankly, for me, I learned a lot. Unfortunately, he passed away last year. I want to thank this amazing team that just moved heaven and earth to get things done. I do want to emphasize this is something that we're still studying, and we have to keep studying. We have to figure out the right way to like make sure we administer it, that it's safe, that we don't just take it for granted. We already know everything, because we don't. And for the NIH and for ARPA-H, we are absolutely committed to making sure that we keep studying it, keep getting the best gold standard science on it. You see here Nora Volkow, who's my National Institute of Drug Abuse director. She's been an absolute hero in just developing scientific, so the commitment for American science to focus on this, and in many ways, it's that scientific advance that brought us to this moment. So thank you, President Trump.
But if it's good, we want to get it fully approved fast, right?
I mean, for the things that have great evidence, and that's
Because,
what
you know,
we're
these studies, they go on for a long time, and if it's good, I mean, I have a witness right here, these two incredible brothers, that to me is a study, right?
I mean, it's just as Commissioner McCary said, there's stuff that we know, and we can tell it works. We still got to figure out somehow how it works or why it works. That we got to keep doing even as we move forward fast.
But it does work.
some of those, I mean, absolutely, some of those treatments absolutely work. You can
Yes,
see
it
the
works.
testament here.
It works.
Yes, it works.
I can answer it because
The
it
seals
either
in the
works or
back.
it doesn't. I would think that there's been a
Yeah,
lot
but-
of research already, indirect research, maybe the ultimate research, people that have taken it, because I've spoken to people that have taken it, aside from the trail, both of them. I've spoken to 5 people that
Mr. President, it works.
that had big problems.
I've done it 3 times.
Yeah,
It works.
please.
It fixed my demonic
This
relationship.
is Rob O'Neill, who's a friend of mine and a great guy. Go ahead.
It fixed my demonic relationship with alcohol. It saved my life, and then it saved my wife. So every day's a blessing. It took about 3 years of. I did it 3 times. It's a different
times.
adventure every time. That's not fun.
So without it, you would have had problems.
I did it with, there was a Green Beret, 28-year Sergeant Major, that told me when we finished, make sure you tell Amber Capone, the CEO of Veterans Exploring Treatment Solutions, that she saved my life because I was going to kill myself next week. This was my last chance. I had a 28-year veteran tell me that. This works.
Okay, good. I
Mr.
think-
President,
Yes.
could you ask Marcus to speak about his experience?
Thank you, Secretary. Yeah, Mr. President, what Rob O'Neill was talking about, my wife Amber Capone is the CEO of our charity Veterans Exploring Treatment Solutions. We had prayed for this day to come 10 years ago when we started the charity. We've been sending veterans outside the country, Joe, that you've been talking about for years, several thousand now, and we said the mission will end once this day happens, so we believe this is a huge step in maybe that the mission goes away, and now we have affordable access right here in the U.S.
Why didn't they get it done?
We're getting it done right. You're getting it done.
Yeah, why, yeah,
Why didn't
the
anyone
president's
else?
looking at it, right? Why didn't they get it done?
I think we needed you.
That's my job. I can answer that question, sir.
Go ahead, please.
There's a small group of us in the House that had been trying to move legislation since I showed up. Mr. Correa, Mr. Bergman, Mr. McCall, Mr. Crenshaw, every year have tried to move legislation. That side of the room is not going to like what I have to say about this. And every year it has all fallen short. Every year it has all fallen short. And it's because of the proverbial roadblocks that were always in the way.
Right, that's right.
Okay, fair assessment. But those members and myself were convicted never to give up, ever. And with this executive order, I'm going to maintain composure, Mr. President. With this executive order, you have broken down those barriers and allowed us, I have all the faith in the world that this will codify and remain forever. So thank you very much for taking care of your service members and your veterans and giving the members that have been working on this for so long a chance. Thank you, sir.
Well, this, when I sign this does solve it for the 3-year, but we'll get that codified very easily.
Absolutely. Thank
Once I sign it, we get them codified, so we'll make it permanent. I have no doubt it's going to be working. Would
These guys
anybody
are
else
emotional
like to
about
say
this, man.
something? These 2 women are so
Yeah, let's hear that
talented.
from the doctors.
Well, I love an executive order that says research, 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 because it's ultimately what guides us on to how to optimally do things. And
That's
I think
right.
that this is what hopefully will start to happen, and bringing up change in a system that has been very difficult to modify because of prior experiences. These drugs have unique characteristics that could actually, if we investigate them, can bring us into potential applications that currently we're not thinking about. But if we close the door to science, if we close the door to data, we'll just keep on doing the same
Was
thing
that
again
door
and again.
closed? Do you think the door was
It
closed?
was hard.
Yes.
It was hard to do research.
It's
before.
very, very hard. And it's actually just by scheduling as a one, it makes it very
So
difficult.
this is a big move then. It's going to have
It will facilitate
bigger than
research.
just this one thing that we're talking about.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad we didn't waste a Saturday morning. Please.
Yes, Mr. President, this is a much needed, bold move for precision mental health for our veterans and others, and accelerates access to personalized targeted treatments. As you have heard, many veterans and others experiencing mental health disorders, they go through up to years of trial and error, trying one treatment that doesn't work, trying another and not knowing why. My work at Stanford and with my colleagues is to develop brain-based tests that can be measured right now in our VA and other locations that help us understand why these new treatments work and who they'll be most effective for. So with your mandate, we are in a position to really accelerate saving lives of many more people and getting them well sooner. And I believe that with this, the United States will be the first country in the world to treat mental health like we do cancer.
Wow.
And like we do many other chronic mental illnesses.
Actually curing it. Oh, yeah.
The world is actually watching this because there are a lot of countries that want to do this and they haven't been able to. They're going to be following suit very, very strongly. Thank you very much, both. Anybody else? You guys okay? Everybody, let's sign it, right? You want to say something?
Mr. President, thank you. This treatment saved my life as well, and so many fellow veterans. Helped me get off opiates, stop using a nerve stimulator I had implanted, sleep for the first time in over 10 years.
Wow.
So thank you.
Yeah, man.
And you have no doubt, right?
Zero.
Wow. That's, to me, that's the best research of all, frankly.
Absolutely.
Okay, it's my honor.
Wow, man.
That's a good one. Oh, I wanted this one to be. See that, Joe? No. You think Biden can do that? He can do that.
It's a big deal, guys. Whatever you think of Donald Trump, this is a big deal. This is a really, really big deal.
Questions of the folks, and I think we'll keep it on the subject pretty much. You'll have some questions on Iran, I know that, but this is such an important subject that I'd rather let this just speak for itself. And we'll be talking about Iran later. We have very good conversations going on. It's working out very well.
I think he's going to have some questions from the press now.
For 47 years, and nobody ever took them on.
Cover a little bit of that now.
They have no Navy, they have no Air Force, they have no leaders, they have no forced regime change. Again,
we've been covering Iran
ships
ourselves.
are coming up to Texas. I don't know if you know, in Louisiana, good, but we'll have some information by the end of the day. We're talking to them. A lot of your fellow soldiers have been killed over the years by Iran. The roadside bomb.
Yeah, number one killer of U.S. troops for the last 50 years.
So we have a much different view on it than other presidents. They've gotten away with murder for 47 years. They're not getting away with it anymore. Does anybody have any questions with the great professionals? Please.
Here we go.
I wanted to know, could this potentially ever be available through the VA? You know, because I was talking to Liz over here, one of
Great question.
down in Mexico together.
That's why they're fast tracking in relation with Veterans Affairs.
This is another drug that's expensive.
We have the right guy, Oz. Let's go.
Veterans need this.
Boy, are you good for this question. You're talking about expense and availability.
So I spoke to Doug Collins. Obviously, both he obviously pays for the VA, and we pay for Medicare, Medicaid, children's health insurance. Are very focused on the results that the NIH and FDA are going to offer us. We have a mechanism of creating models, CMMI. That might be the wise way to go because we can continue to study the impact. It is such a massive shift in how you deliver care. Imagine instead of taking a pill a day for your depression, you go through one treatment, but you have to have few people watching you. It's a very different world. So we're working that through. That's why the president, who I think this is the perfect step to get everything rolling, to deliver on the promise.
What's timing, would you say that, before you know?
We could have a CMMI model that we would announce by the end of this year. But the reason I'm not committing to that now is I want to make sure that the FDA and NIH have time, along with the great scientists, to give us a bit more information about how to deliver care. I'll give you one concrete example. For things like, well, ibogaine is a little different story, but you wouldn't want two people in the room during the treatment. That's true for many of these approaches. That's a very different way of delivering medicine. And so the models that Abe Sutton runs that group for us, and he's done a great job for the president, that will be probably the fastest way of moving forward and give the VA data so they can make wiser decisions, because Doug Collins is very focused on this.
There's one thing I'd add. There's nothing more expensive right now than the mental health crisis in America. 21% of Americans have a diagnosable mental health condition. The second leading cause of death for young adults today is suicide.
God, man. Oh my God, guys.
The second leading cause of death for young adults today is suicide. Mr. President, antidepressants right now are the
That's
most
so
prescribed
sad.
class medication
That's tragic.
in the country. Over
Guys.
20% of women are on an antidepressant.
And is that good in terms of do they work?
There's highly problematic research
wait till you hear these
on
numbers.
the fact that over 20% of U.S. women are on these drugs that are prescribed for life. We have a mental health crisis. And
Do they work?
No. They don't. I'm on a couple of them. And
I would not have. We'll get you down to Mexico. We'll get you down to Mexico.
I said, okay, could I be next? But no, it is definitely an issue for women.
But, Mr. President, what you and Secretary Kennedy unlocked is for the first time questioning this system, that where we spend 3 times more per capita than any other country in the world, and we are living 6-7 years less. We have the highest rates of suicide and depression in the developed world. The incentives of our system.
And by the way, autism, which we're really working hard on, right, Bob?
We have the highest rates
and
of
we're coming up with some pretty amazing findings.
And pediatric cancer is the highest rates in the world. We are struggling, and we're paying more than any other country, and the power of this executive order is really representative and gives validation to the cries of Maha moms and the votes of Maha moms, because for the first time it's taking a therapy that's one time. This is a one time, not a lifetime drug that can change someone's life, and that's the power, and I think that's why the system is
So
not
the
working.
antidepressants, all that we read about it, or we prescribe to our military, they're not very effective?
So lifetime drug, and
Well, even if it's lifetime, but do they?
look at what's happened as we've prescribed them and made them one of the most prescribed
The
classes of
numbers are not great.
No.
Perhaps I could jump in from the
Here we go.
scientific
Listen to
side.
this. This doctor jumps in.
Hold on, she just wanted to say something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think what's really important about your order is you include, we really want to understand why these rapid-acting treatments work. We need that for every treatment in mental health illnesses. Standard antidepressants in research, they do work for some people, but certainly not everyone. And if we think of cancer, all other conditions, we have a test to know which treatment
That's right.
is needed, and we don't have that for mental illness. It's guesswork.
This is
So
terrible. With that, it either works or it doesn't work, and you have the
Right.
result.
And so
With this, you don't
as
know.
part of this order, I think it's really important that we're able to have the investment to understand who does this work for, and the test to accompany that. So thank you for
Do you
making
think
that
this
work.
can be a big step above antidepressants, what we're doing?
I think it can be identifying who doesn't respond to an antidepressant straight away, rather than waiting for years. And
What
being
percentage
able
of people respond positively to antidepressants? How
20
much?
to 30%.
That's not great.
No.
20 to 30%. That's the level of effectiveness of people that take antidepressants. It's effective for 20 to 30%.
Antidepressants. How
20
much?
to 30%.
That's not great.
No.
No.
That's not great. Well, thank you very much. Good question.
Mr. President, what's the timeline for those with
Which that's
mental health
placebo
disorders,
effect, so I
substance
imagine.
abuse disorders, to readily take advantage of this treatment based upon the executive order that you're signing today?
So I'd like to ask maybe Marty that question.
Sure. So first of all, right now it's available on clinical trials. We have not had applications in-house at the FDA. There was one that came in under the Biden administration. It was kicked out and not accepted. We now have 3 applications that are imminent, and we'll be issuing vouchers next week. The fastest FDA approval was 42 days during the HIV epidemic. On our national priority voucher program under President Trump, we are now down to that time frame on a routine basis instead of a year. In my opinion, we need the same level of urgency we had with HIV for PTSD and depression and anxiety and our mental health disorder and cancer and
These
heart
people are
disease and so
dying
many other
even faster
conditions.
from all
So
of
you're
it.
going to see decisions out from the
Faster
FDA
than
later
next.
this summer, as soon as we get the applications.
That's great. That's great.
And Mr. President,
I like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really like that answer. to
thank
be
you,
honest.
Mr.
Go
President.
ahead.
And then in regards to the timing of the executive order, was there not enough known about this treatment a year ago, or 5 years ago, or 8 years ago to sign the executive order that you signed?
So do you want to answer that question? Go ahead.
I just add, in 2016, the lead professor at Johns Hopkins said this was the most promising therapy that he's seen in his career, and many doctors from leading institutions said that. there's been a hold, there's been incentives against this, and it's the bravery and leadership of President Trump.
So you think artificial barriers?
It's starting, and this, to be clear, is starting a fast-track scientific process that's subject to FDA approval. But this has been known among leading institutions for many times as a very promising therapy.
So could it not have been signed in your first term, or there just wasn't enough information known about it?
Nobody told me about it, frankly. I got, all of a sudden, I've been getting a lot of calls. I think a lot, in all fairness, I think a lot's been learned over the last few years.
I just say that? I mean, a lot has been learned over the past few years. I think in the first term, if I was standing behind the president, I would have been much more comfortable than I am now, thanks to the research that's been done. I mean, still a lot more to do. It's worked for so many people. It's really a great move to do this, but the research is really important because we're going to keep improving, keep learning, and make sure that the people get the treatment they need when they are depressed, when they are addicted, when they have PTSD. We can keep doing the research and also acknowledge the research that's been done. That's when you get good health policy.
And Secretary Kennedy's role, he just doesn't stop. I mean, every day, all day long, until he gets these things done. This is not an easy boulder to push up the hill. And Secretary Kennedy was undaunted, and he'd been talking about it for a while, so he had a passion anyway. But his mentoring has allowed a lot of folks to move this quickly.
And if I can jump in rapidly, because I was one of those doctors that was not supportive of psychedelic therapy because I thought it was magical thinking. But over the past 6 to 10 years, we have seen an emergence of data that we cannot ignore. These drugs have the capacity, as was mentioned before, with one single administration to change the behavior of someone towards a therapeutic effect. In animal models, 80%. One single administration recreates pathways that have been eroded because of pathology. So we have a tool that potentially
healthy neural pathways that
us
have been eroded because of pathology regrow.
Administration recreates pathways that have been eroded because of pathology. So we have a tool that potentially could allow us to basically manipulate the ability of our own bodies to heal itself, if we know how to properly use it. And that's why research, as I mentioned before, is opening up doors to explore what else can we do, how to optimally use it.
Yeah,
you're just
actually,
hearing
I see
and
what you're
seeing
saying.
automatic research.
This opens a lot of doors.
Now,
we're healing the brain from all kinds of different physical and psychological traumas.
Have done a couple of years ago. I mean, it just seems to me, I've been hearing about it a little bit over the last year. I never heard anything about it in the past. It was almost like taboo. It's not taboo anymore.
It was taboo.
And there was not enough science neither. And I think that's where the evidence speaks for itself. And ultimately, that's why I say I was one of those doctors that didn't believe in it. So we do data in order to change our perspective and to do things better.
I was surprised to hear about the antidepressants. I assumed they'd be better. That's not very good. So, Bobby, you're going to push it very hard?
Yes.
We'll get it done? Sounds good to me. Well, these two guys and this third with Rob, too, and with you. I mean, that to me is research, right? Maybe the ultimate research, right? Big fans, all big fans. Well, I want to thank everybody, and it's going to be... Thank you very much, everybody.
Would you ever fire?
Wow. Okay, that was it. That was the part that we wanted to watch. Guys, I don't know what y'all think about that. I'm blown away. I'm just blown away. This is such good news. This whole episode has been what we normally do at the end of episodes. I always like to do a good news roundup because there's so much horrible news in the world. It's nice to hear some of the good things going on out there. You know, like Grandma used to always say, in bad times, look for the helpers, because they're always there. So, speaking of good news, let's go ahead and let me see what we got here. Yeah, this one's kind of cool. Who knows who this was? I like it. From the Good News Roundup. Thank you to goodnewsnetwork.org. There we go. Yeah, look at this, guys. Zoom in a little bit. More than 25,000 books are on their way into the hands of undeserved residents across New York City and Long Island. What is underserved? I see. Okay. I thought that was undeserved, but it is underserved. Okay. Like, what are you trying to say about these people? That's messed up. Okay. They'll be distributed across the boroughs by Book Fairies, a nonprofit that since 2012 has donated 6 million books to Title I schools, educators, and community partners. The donations come via the world's largest online retailer of used books, Thrift Books, which teamed up with the Book Fairies, which hosts large-scale distribution events where community leaders and educators can go and get books that might otherwise be beyond budget. 25,000 books is a lot of weight, and on the ground at the Book Fairies central receiving and sorting area, it's hard work dividing them between reading level and eventual destination. Volunteers sort out the reserved books before using pallet jacks to move them around in large boxes. So Dan Schwartzberg, who works in media relations for the 4 Media Group, which managed the press for Thrift Books donation, told GNN that he visited one of the Book Fairies free book events and saw the impact of the organization firsthand. I mean, I love this idea. This is a great idea. Books, more so than any other form of media that I've ever experienced, takes you to another place. And you learn, and your brain grows. You learn to think and understand different kinds of people and how to deal with different kinds of situations, even from fiction. But you can also gain great knowledge of history in the world and how to do anything you want from books. Books are amazing. I mean, they're even more immersive than a great movie or a great video game even. Books are the ultimate immersion. At least this is my experience. And it's, you can teach a kid to read so well that by the time that they're reading, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, it's pretty much automatic. Not that hard. I mean, you have to learn new words here and there, but just Google or use a dictionary. So, Thrift Books, it's more than just, this is a quote. Book Fairies, let me go back a little bit. Book Fairies has an incredible track record of getting books into the hands of children and families, says Barbara Hagen, Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Thrift Books. Thrift Books is about more than just selling books. We're focused on saving them and sharing them and making sure that reading is something. Okay, anyways, you're giving yourself good PR. I'm glad that they're involved and that they're helping Book Fairies to deliver books to underprivileged communities, or basically lower income areas, which is awesome, man, because the best way you can get these people out of there is by giving them books. Amen. Awesome. And of course, other charity and outreach that churches often do. It helps a lot. So here we go. Here's some more good news. Unlikely prom king. This was actually almost tragic. The unlikely prom king, the school principal who disarmed an active shooter in the lobby of his high school. He saw somebody coming in to do a shooting, and he sacrificed his life. There is video of this. Here it is, in fact. Let it load up. It seems to be taking a minute there. Let's see if this will pop up for us. Here we go. Check it out, guys. I mean, I feel really sad for this kid. This isn't our traditional good news. but what this brave man did is certainly a great thing. Oh, wow. They're showing us the long version of the video. Oh, okay. She comes in. She turns around. He points a gun. He comes out the door and he tackles him, man. Oh, my gosh. And apparently this guy got shot during this altercation. Okay, now there's the gun. Kicks it away. He picks it up to get it the heck away from this situation. Yeah, go away with that. Shoo! Sacrificed his life. Knew he was sacrificing his life before he did that. I mean, in a situation like that, though, if you really care about people, you don't think, and you just do the right thing, and that's what that man did. At an Oklahoma high school, an unlikely candidate was recently crowned prom king. Principal Kirk Moore Moore was recently hailed as a hero by the students after he disarmed a gunman, I don't know why it's spelled wrong, entering Pauls Valley High School, receiving a gunshot wound in the process. Security camera footage captured the suspected gunman and former Pauls Valley student. Wow. Victor Hawkins. I thought it was, okay, mixing myself up here. Yeah, the former student, Victor, entered the school with a handgun, pointed it at several students in the lobby. That's when Moore came out flying from his office, tackled the young man to the ground before another staff member came and removed the weapon. Moore was airlifted to the hospital to undergo treatment and was up on his feet again not too long after. At the best night of their lives later that month, the students welcomed Kirk to the dance hall to raucous applause where he received the crown. That's so cool, man. Now, when instead, you can tell the kids wanted to do that. Now in jail, Hawkins awaits trial on May 8th, where he will face various firearms and shooting charges. You know, people like this are often on SSRIs or on antidepressants, anti-anxiety meds that have been known to cause psychotic breaks and suicidal tendencies as well. I remember reading an article called "The Lily Suicides" back in like 20 years ago. We've known this stuff for a while now, that these pills that Big Pharma pushes more often than not don't work, and sometimes they cause really, really, really scary side effects. And there's other things that we can be doing, like improving our lifestyle, you know, getting more sleep, eating better food, stop eating the junk food, guys. That right there alone, you know, will help your brain a lot. You'll feel a lot happier and healthier if you start exercising. That's the biggest thing beyond, first off, before even diet, exercise is the number one cure for depression in people. But if you have treatment-resistant depression, you've tried all of that. You've tried, sorry guys, I'm not even full screen here. You've tried, you know, exercise and sleep and dietary changes, and you've tried everything, really actually have extensively, and you're still having severe issues because of some probably, you know, extreme PTSD experience, or you're trying to overcome some severe addiction. That's when these psychedelics can come in and truly heal people, truly cure people. And that's world-changing stuff right there, because the number 2 cause of death amongst young people, like adolescents right now, is suicide. And suicide and addiction is a huge problem in this country as a whole, not just for our veterans, but for everybody. So anything that we can do that helps. And I love this idea of giving people therapy conjoined with psychedelic therapy, psychedelic treatment in a therapeutic setting, essentially, is a transformative way to help give people power over their lives again and heal this whole planet. I mean, there's a lot of people out there struggling. We're not helping them, just throwing pills at them. And Big Pharma, man, they make so much money off of these pills that you have to take for the rest of your life. Some of these pills, if you need to get off of them, you have to, like, for a long time, like, scale down the amount you're taking, taper yourself off over a long term for it even to be safe. A lot of them, like, they give you tremors and all kinds of crazy side effects, like Risperdal and things like that. Jesus Christ, guys, these are powerful psychotropics that have huge detrimental side effects, and that's the things that we're going to try and make our lives better. Before we even try and do the eat better, sleep better, diet, exercise stuff, we're often just going to the pills. That's what the doctors tell us, right? But the doctors are getting kickbacks. They're literally, you know, they're making a commission every single time they prescribe certain drugs. I don't know how many people know that, but we should keep that in mind. So now, instead of that old model of taking a pill every day for the rest of your life to be better, you could take 1 or 2 treatments. One treatment, you have an 80% chance of being cured from PTSD or severe opiate or alcohol addiction with ibogaine, psychedelic drug. 2 doses, 90% plus. So here we are. Something that should be one of the leading stories for like a friggin' month straight. It's just like swept under the rug. But this is huge. This is historic. I'm really excited. I'm really happy for people. I'm so excited. I mean, I'm thinking this could be an interesting field to get into for a lot of people out there to be involved in this kind of therapy. This could become part of end of life therapy for people as well, helping them pass in a beautiful, blissful, peaceful state with their family and their loved ones. God, can you believe what we did to people during COVID? Not letting them be near their loved ones in their last days. God. Anyways, just thinking of big pharma again, guys. God. Anyways, thank you guys so much for being here today. This is historic, absolutely historic news. This is so exciting. I'm so happy to see this. Do I have any more good news for the day? I do. We got one more good news for the day, guys. One more good news roundup. Let's go ahead and jump over here. Check this out. Maryland set to become the first U.S. state to ban surveillance pricing that charges more after mining your personal data. What? What? Yeah. Listen to this. We're going to want to make sure that we let our reps know in all of our states that we want this. And around the world, guys, watch out for this. It's coming. Maryland is set to become the first U.S. state to ban surveillance pricing in retail grocery stores after the legislature last week passed the Protection from Predatory Pricing Act, also known as dynamic or personalized shopping or pricing. Also known as dynamic or personalized pricing, surveillance pricing is when a store charges different shoppers different prices for the same item at the same time based on something the store knows about them as an individual. Wow. Governor Wes Moore said he will sign the bill into law, which stops large retailers from using personal data to change prices in real time, while still allowing for promotional offers and loyalty program benefits. Guys, oh my God. So based off of like where you live or how much money you happen to have in your bank at that time, because God knows, they can change your price. This actually sounds like something that Marxists would just love. You know, that thing that a lot of the far left people were saying that they weren't being for a long time, that now they're actually championing. Yeah, that stuff. American consumers are subject to dynamic pricing millions of times every day when they are buying airline tickets online, using Uber, or ordering anything on Amazon. Really? Okay, but I know that dynamic pricing, because prices fluctuate because of supply, demand, competition, and so forth. Are they actually telling us that dynamic pricing based off of who you are as an individual is already happening? This new law, introduced by Governor Moore, was prompted by concerns that major retailers such as Walmart are adopting digital price tags on their shelves that can change instantly by using predictive technology to manipulate prices and hurt average consumers. At a time when Marylanders are already stretched by the rising cost of groceries, housing, and everyday necessities, we must ensure that new technologies are not used to drive up the bill for working families, said the governor in January. Consumer Reports lobbied for the bill, but says the final draft of HB 895 falls short of adequately protecting consumers after the Maryland Retail Alliance, which strongly opposed the bill, successfully added several exemptions. Ugh. Retailers have a lot of data about individual shoppers, how often we search for or hover over particular. So it's not even going to be based off of how much money you make. It's literally just going to be of how much do they know that you've been looking for this item. They can increase the price. That is so shady, dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. The nerve. Wow. How often we search for or hover over particular items. Retailers know this about us now. Whether we live near competitor stores, they're using facial recognition. Oh my God. Oh my God. These shady companies. My God. How else do they know it's you? They're using facial recognition. Or they're monitoring your phone and where it is based off of some number they have associated with you. Wow, okay. Retailers have a lot of data about individual shoppers, how often we search for or hover over particular items, whether we live near competitor stores, inferences about our likes and dislikes, our dietary needs, our income, okay, income is part of it, our family size, and more. Surveillance pricing allows companies to take advantage of all of that information asymmetry and charge you as much as they think you're individually willing to pay. Whoa. But it's like you're haggling with an AI, which is infinitely smarter than you. So it's not really fair, is it? Senior policy analyst at Consumer Reports. And you can't come back. You can't actually haggle. So it's not really haggling. It's just them trying to predict what they think you'll pay for it. Not going to the lowest number in every case. Sometimes they'll raise the price on you. Like, I just bought Aviva paper towels today while I was in the store. It's like $9 for 3 rolls now. It's insane how much prices have gone up and stayed up since COVID. They used the excuse and then they raised prices way more than the actual rate of inflation. I saw it happen with bottles of water and many things. Went up way more than they should have, like 100, 200% price changes. Obvious price gouging. And yeah, I was looking at that price. I was like, this is so much, but I'm going to pay for it because I hate cheap paper towels that fall apart easily. So it's like, oh my God. So they could try and charge me $12 or $15 or $20 maybe. Whatever they think they can get away with. One Kroger shopper in Oregon requested their data under a state privacy law and received a 62-page profile. And most of the inferences were wrong. Wow. The loopholes Consumer Reports identified that weakened the bill ironically included the exemption for loyalty or membership programs because those prices are allowed to be raised, becoming more expensive than standard prices. Huh. Wow. Loyalty or membership program. Really? Oh. The good news is many other states are considering surveillance pricing bans, including California, Colorado, Illinois, New Jersey, New York, and others. And maybe those states will resist adding loopholes. Let's see who else. Stints. I see Oklahoma, Tennessee. Oh no, it doesn't really tell us much else. Trying to super speed read this, and I don't see any more state names. 24 states. U.S. state lawmakers have introduced more than 40 bills across at least 24 states to regulate personalized algorithmic pricing in 2026 thus far, already outpacing the number of personalized algorithmic pricing bills introduced in all of 2025. While their definitions and scope vary, the 2026 bills broadly refer to personalized algorithmic or dynamic, as it's also called, pricing as the practice of setting or adjusting prices by analyzing consumer data through AI or other automated tools, which may result in different prices being offered to different consumers for the same good or service. Yeah, screw that. No. Things should be priced based off of market demand and supply, period. And then the quality of the materials and so forth. But the actual, there should be. You should never take the consumer into account that might potentially be buying it to change your. Geez, God, you guys, did you skip your business ethics classes? Whoever came up with this idea. Yeah. Anyways, good news that Maryland is on top of it and many other states are on top of it. And let's make sure we get on top of our representatives and all of our states to get on top of it and countries around the world. Don't let them use AI or any information about you in this manner. This is absolutely something that should be illegal. This is so screwy. This is so messed up. I can't believe that they think that this would even be an appropriate thing to try and do. But there you go. So, hey, good news roundup with a little bit of homework. But yeah, that's adulting in a system of self-governance, fam. We have to watch our representatives like hawks. We have to be at least somewhat involved and somewhat aware of what's going on around us. Don't just look for information that agrees and supports your already held preferred point of view. Like, challenge your own conceptions, because it's actually, you'll be surprised by how often you might be wrong on things because there's another side or multiple other sides to that subject. And there can be multiple competing truths in one subject area, you know. So we have to be open enough in our consideration to not close ourselves off to information that would effectively change our minds. You know, we can't just become, you know, dumb, blind partisans and allow ourselves to be ideologically possessed by what we prefer the world to be. You know, you like, for instance, I know a lot of people out there probably don't like hearing about the Trump administration being the one to push for the reclassification of psychedelics and to fast track research behind them and to fast track these becoming treatments for people that are experiencing severe trauma, PTSD, and addictions. I absolutely love this. This is great news. I would celebrate it if it was Kamala Harris pushing this. I don't care who pushed this one out. I'm very happy to hear it. It's great news. And hey, guys, we can celebrate that, right? We can at least encourage the good things that we see our representatives do, even if perhaps you don't like Trump. You can encourage this more of this kind of stuff. So, much love, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, for being here. Make sure to like and subscribe if you appreciate what's going on here. We do this Meaning Making 101 every Wednesday that we can, 7 p.m. EST. I was a little bit late today. My apologies, guys. I had to get things set up, and I was running a little bit behind. But I will endeavor to be here for you guys and to share this kind of information and then, you know, discuss with you guys. You're welcome to take part in the conversation here, share your thoughts and questions, anything that I missed this episode that you, or that you go ahead and post after the fact. I will make sure that we reply next episode to you. And we will continue the conversation. We'll figure these things out. We will be that change we wish to see in this world. We will change this world from the inside out together. As always, that is the name of the game. And wow, I'm small again. Sorry, guys. I'm sitting here talking and chatting on from a tiny, tiny screen. But yeah, let's go ahead. Let's wind this thing on out. Much love, fam. See you next time. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I've been talking about. Oh, nah. Come on. Check the 1, check the 2, check the 3,